the Cat and Moose podcast. I'm Cat.
And I'm Moose. This is a true life podcast where we explore the quirks of being human. Hey, Cat.
Hey, Moose. Hey, Sarah.
She's in South Africa without us.
Oh, just hanging out in South Africa. What in the world, Producer Sara, are you doing in South Africa?
That's a great question. She went to some fancy place over there. She sent me pictures and it was like an Italian villa.
Ooh.
I was like, I think you're in heaven. It was like so pretty.
Ooh, how nice.
Okay, so with Sarah being out a bunch lately, you have been talking for 7 years about how you want to learn how to edit.
Yes.
And
all 7
now-
years that we've been doing the podcast.
Yeah. And now you're learning and
Yes.
you started to tell me about it. And I was like, no, we got to hit record. So please tell us all how that is going.
Yeah. So I decided to take a couple of tutorials.
Okay.
And to attempt to learn how to edit the podcast for times when Sarah's in South Africa, because we could have planned that, right? Mm-hmm. And so, so I was having a self-teaching moment over the weekend, this past weekend, and I was learning how to edit I did a grounding meditation.
Okay.
Kind of one of those, like, if you'd like, you can notice what's supporting you right now.
Or like this, if you'd like, notice what's supporting you right now.
Notice what's supporting you right now. No, I was actually just using my regular voice because I try not to have a table voice. Like, I know I do.
Is that
I know I do. I mean, I don't know, but
oh my God, we need to call it, and we need to totally trademark that is like table voice. Because if you are any kind of bodywork therapist, you would know what that means.
Yes. I mean, maybe you would. Like, I don't know. But
it's like a phone voice. When you answer the phone, we don't ever talk like we normally talk.
See, I do.
No, you don't. Nope. You go, this is Cat.
I go, hello, this is Cat.
Yeah, but you're never that cheery.
Oh, I'm always so depressed.
No, it's just a little bit higher
It's
of a pitch than normal.
It's a little bit, it's got a little more energy, a little more high frequency for sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I was using my table voice, I guess. And I was like, as you notice your feet on the ground, and then entered in the guitar solo from the Heart song, I Didn't Want to Need You.
Which is what? Sing it to us.
Gone, 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 gone. I didn't want to need you. Oh no, I didn't want to want you like I do.
I do know that one.
Yeah. I mean, everybody knows that song. And so anyway, I was down here at my desk just howling, laughing.
And
so I started.
Happy you have a new hobby.
Oh, man. I have had so much fun trying to learn this crazy thing. So we'll see.
So wait, you created a meditation where Heart is like that is the meditation music.
Yes.
I like that. I like that.
I was doing it to be funny because that's how my brain works. Like when I'm trying to like really sink in and try to really connect with myself, there's some voice over here going, you know, it's like you just can't really get quiet, or I can't.
No.
And so I was like, why don't I show the world what's in my experience is?
So will you edit that into this episode? Is that how that's going to go? Because I do feel like you should try.
Yeah, I feel like I should go. And now is time for you to listen to Kat's second edit. And it's like, and now you may put your feet on the ground, and now, you know, like maybe so.
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, like, I miss her as a human, and I miss her as our producer. I miss Producer Sara.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about Heart.
Well, I miss them too.
I feel like I was like I feel like I'm 5 years too young to have gotten Heart, but I do recognize the songs.
You know, the all I want to do is make love to you. Yes. It's one of their big pop hits.
Oh, I didn't know
How
that
do
was
I
them.
get you alone?
Oh, okay.
These dreams dreams go on when I close my eyes. You don't know this music?
I do. I know all of their music.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. Okay.
You just said the first song. What was the title again?
The one that I was using to edit. The song is called "I Didn't Want to Need You," and it is written by no other than Diane Warren, of course.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say something you're going to hate, but isn't that the funniest name for someone who's an Enneagram 2 to sing that song?
We'll say more because I know this is going to be a slam on Kat, so I'm ready for it.
No, I just wrote this Enneagram article, so it's on the brain.
Yes, I read it.
As 2s, you guys want to be wanted, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I want to be wanted so bad.
So it's ironic that was the song you chose.
Didn't want to need you. Yes, I want you to need me, damn it. Yes, as an Enneagram 2, I want to be needed, damn it. That's my theme song.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Okay, yeah. I love that, and I endorse all of your editing skills, and I'm excited to see what comes of it.
Well, I'm excited to hear what comes of it. It might be a complete train wreck, and thank God Sarah's going to come home. I mean...
Well, if you need any help, I'm learning as well, so we can...
Wait, what?
Well, when I was in college, I was an expert audio editor, and then I worked in radio, and I got really good at it. But I'm learning Audition. What are you learning it in?
I'm learning in Audition as well.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that I'm a really good editor. Like I can go and I can easily clip out stuff and add stuff in and stuff like that. What I'm curious about is I guess I know there's like 9 people in the world who care about this. So this is going to be a great episode.
Educational podcast.
Yeah. Apparently there's a thing where you need to group the vocal tracks together so that like you and I are talking together and it's like I'm editing it as a group, and I don't know how to do that yet.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I only know how to kind of clip things out and stuff like that. And then I'm learning some of the layering. Okay. So anyway, for those of you, we're sponsored by Adobe.
Yeah, we're sponsored by Adobe, the Creative Cloud.
Just go to Cat and Moose Podcast /trial/us/edit/love you, girl.
That's what is going to make Adobe become the world's leading creative software, is that we have endorsed them.
Agreed.
You know that, right?
Agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just need my yearly subscription to be comped. That's really all I'm looking for.
Same. Yeah, I was going through my Amex the other day going like, what else can I cut? Like, am I paying? Like I subscribed to Rocket Lawyer.
Oh, me too. Oh, yeah. I've got 12 subscriptions. Right. I haven't touched in years.
Right.
I try to go find them, but there's always one that's like, oh, you renewed, and you hit reply and it's a no reply. And then you're like, screw it. I'd rather pay $59 a year than actually call someone.
Right. And so last week I had this experience, Moose, except I got a renewal subscription bill that showed up in my Amex for $675.
For what?
It was for some website that I owned one time.
Oh, yeah, because you asked me about it, didn't you?
Yeah, I always like buy websites and then I pay for them for years and then I let them expire. And so
they get you because they're like, oh, it's going to be 20% less if you pay for the whole year. But then the business is gone the next year.
Right, because it's been hacked or it's just failed, So I actually picked up the phone. I called who made the charge. I called my Amex. I replaced my card. I was so proud of myself. I made like incredible 3 phone calls.
Yeah, I mean,
to absolve
you win
myself.
The prize.
I do, and I am proactive. If you've ever seen it, poster child.
You really are. Here's your prize. I think you gave me this.
Yeah.
But I use it when I'm on meetings. So you get to borrow this for one day.
Thank you. And I will let you borrow this.
Oh, well, look at us and our rocks.
Yeah, this is my...
Look what I found.
You found the little kitty.
She's yelling at me. So I had to show her to you. Okay, I need to talk about how yesterday went for me because it was a rough day.
Okay. I'm here for it. What happened?
Well, as you know, we were supposed to record this a couple days ago. I kind of started feeling nauseous halfway through the day. It was like, I am not getting sick. So I downed like all this wellness formula, all the things that you do.
Was it
and I like
morning sickness?
Yeah, no, I'm not pregnant and I'm happy about that. But so Monday comes and I had to deal with a difficult situation in the workplace. Okay. Nobody that works for me. But, well, I'll tell you this. I've had to deal with a couple really hard situations lately. And it is not lost on me that it has to be connected to some universal truth.
Yes.
So I texted you the other day and was like, hey, how's your week? Because the past 2 weeks have just been hard, I feel like. And like not hard in I've been busy. I can handle all of that. But hard in like difficult conversations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a difference. Like being busy is one thing. And it's like, thankfully, like, even though sometimes we get frustrated with it, like we love what we do. Like we love our jobs. We wouldn't keep doing them if we didn't.
Right.
And at the same time, when you have to deal with difficult situations within a thing that you love, like that can be really taxing. So like, how did you handle?
Well, okay. So I've started doing this thing where I give people out, like an out. Like, for instance, I might go, oh, I'm not saying this is healthy. And I'm not on the record for this, guys. Okay. This is just how I operate in order to survive. Like, I'll be like, oh, they probably had some PTSD going on or something like that. I'm trying to see people as like children and not as adults because it's a little bit better because you're like, oh, you're just throwing a fit right now.
Right.
Like, I'm going to let you finish your fit. You're going to be exhausted and then you'll fall asleep.
Right.
You know?
And then I'll have my way.
Yeah.
That sounded horrible.
I'll get you a little snack. Or at least you'll just be quiet, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the hardest conversations for me are and most of the conversations that are hard involve this, are when it involves someone's ego. Mm-hmm. And we deal with this working in the entertainment industry a lot, but you know, if we get into a place as humans where our value is based on numbers or success, whatever that means, then I think, God forbid, that foundation crumble.
Right.
Because eventually it does. It always does. Often it comes back when it crumbles. But there are times where it could be an off week. It's not even that something isn't working. It just could be an off week. And it's hard as someone who supports artistic people sometimes to... I'm not someone that really wants to explain away, well, here's why this happened. I'm someone that wants to be like, I know. I noticed it too. Let's keep moving. You know, like I just can't get stuck on those little tiny things. Yeah. And so I think it's hard sometimes when you're dealing with someone who that is their expectation all the time is just growth. Yeah. Because it's just not going to happen like that all the time. You'll have seasons of that.
Yeah. And, you know, we're talking about artists, we're talking about entertainment. And a lot of times it's not exclusive by any stretch, but a lot of times those people tend to hover around being an Enneagram 4. And so they've got the 3 wing that is like perfection, performance. And then they've got the 5 wing that's like data. And it's like, it's almost like kind of a train wreck from both sides, because right in the middle of it at Enneagram 4, it's like, I just want to be myself and I can't ever be satisfied and you know.
And also like, I want to be seen for who I am, and why can't if it's not going as planned, like, you know, why can't people see that? And then it's human nature. I'm learning. I feel like I should have learned this in my 30s, but I'm learning it in my 40s, and that's okay. But I also feel like it's human nature to want to blame somebody.
Oh yeah. Like
I always tell the story when I worked I think you're going to know what story. But when I worked at a label, one of the bosses there said, I don't care who picks the single for radio. I just need to know who to shoot when it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And although that's terrible, also that is our nature of if something doesn't work, who can I point the finger at?
Because it's certainly not you.
No.
Like it's certainly not the person whose piece of art is not working.
Right. And so I guess my whole point is, I have been reactive some of my life. I'm working my way out of that, I think, in a lot of ways. And I just want to be a less reactive person because when it happens to you, it is just, as adults, we shouldn't have to treat each other poorly.
Yeah, this is very true. I have a dear friend and client, we both do, who said to me several years ago, he said, I am working on responding instead of reacting.
Yeah, exactly.
And to me, like that they're both like, they're going to be helpful in moving energy, right? That's all we're doing, right? We're moving energy.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if I need to react, if I need to respond, if I need to yell at somebody, if I need to be frustrated, I need to blame somebody. It's just a movement of frustration, right? And so it's like, it's got to move somewhere else. So I'm going to pick, like, where am I going to move it to?
Yeah.
And I really liked the thought of, instead of immediately needing to move that energy, being able to respond to it, to go, okay, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I'm about to have a really hard time with this.
Yeah.
I want to respond in a way that is mature and respectful. And also I'm really frustrated and I need to move that energy. It's like, there's a level of matureness there that I really have a lot of respect for.
Yeah. So let's try to not be that person. I literally text someone yesterday and said, let's get drunk. And I didn't mean it.
So not
I
you,
didn't mean it. But it's like, which, by the way, as someone who quit drinking for a while, I was telling Sarah this the other day. I said, it's funny because even though the most I will drink is 1 or 2 drinks, and it's usually a beer or something now. I mean, like, I don't really drink a lot at all anymore. But it is funny when I get really stressed to where my nervous system feels shot. It's interesting that my brain still says, let's drink.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fascinating.
I know.
Isn't that fascinating?
It's like not even my thing I do anymore, but for so long, that was my go-to of like, just take the edge off, just take the edge off. And it's weird to notice that that's still what my brain says.
Well, it's like the whole idea of neuroplasticity, right? It's like there are neural pathways that are created in our brain, whether they're from trauma or habits or addictions or whatever it is. And it's like, if you've been used to for more than 21 days doing any one thing, there is a pathway in the brain, like a habit is formed. And so it's like, if you spent 2 years or 10 years or 8 months or whatever it is going like, okay, the way I deal is I drink, or the way I deal is I smoke, or I eat, or I whatever, fill in the blank, whatever it is, it's hard to unlearn that. And even when you unlearn it, the pathway is still available. Yeah. It's not like the pathway gets erased. Right. No. And that's really, that feels to me like a little bit of a bitch slap. Yeah. It's not like I wonder if, going with that analogy, I wonder if there's a way to, from a healing standpoint with like a therapist or somebody, to put dirt into that pathway so that it goes away eventually. Yeah, it's an absolute advertisement for body work is what's happening right now. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, all the somatic stuff for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, okay, like let's start. It kind of reminds me of the tradition in some cultures where when someone is buried, the person closest to that person shovels the first shovel of dirt on top of the casket, like on top of the closest body. As in relationship? Well, like, yeah, like if a man dies and has a wife, it's like a lot of times it's the wife, or it's the oldest son. Yeah, it's a thing. And so to me, it's just like therapy is like that act.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're going to have to pile that shit on for a long time for that to bury that casket.
Yeah.
And at least you're working toward it. At least it's not just like a gaping hole, you know?
Right. I agree. Yeah. I've been trying to, like I said, see other people as children and also try and have those conversations with my 6-year-old kid. Which I did have her. Oh, she's over here now. I had to move my desk for a meeting because I was sitting on my couch, and I'll get it. Hang on one second. This, have I talked about?
Oh, yeah. Hi.
So,
hi, Andrea.
My friend Megan said it's quite scary. I didn't mean to stitch up her lips. I'll try and put this on socials or something. I hate socials. God, I hate socials.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking with a friend today who said that he has taken a turn from saying that I'm going to engage with social media and turned that into I'm going to engage with people who care about what I do.
Oh, that's good.
And I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's using it as like a storefront, like a marketplace. And it's like if you know you're using it to sell something, then you don't have to be as personally attached to it.
Oh,
you know, it's like either people are going to buy what I'm putting out or they're not, you know? So
it's just such a fickle place, you know?
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
So tell me about 6-year-old.
Oh, well, basically what I want to say about her is all the things I do that are reactive are because she was a 6-year-old who looked around and said, nobody here is being strong. And I put that in quotes because they were being strong. But in her mind, nobody was taking charge. So she has to take charge. And so if I remember, like even how I feel, like yesterday, I had so much tough energy inside of me. And then I sneezed. I know that sounds weird. And it all came out. Like it was bizarre. Like so much energy came out. But anyway, I was just thinking about that yesterday, about how I was asking that 6-year-old, what is it that you're feeling? Because my 46-year-old didn't know. I just knew it was real bad is what I felt.
Yeah.
And then I saw this thing online, and it was somebody talking about the law of attraction, which I'm still unsure if I believe. I do believe there is giant magnets bringing all of us together at the right times and things like that. But
you think there's a magnet that's making the Earth rotate and orbit around the sun and the sun orbit through the Milky Way? Like, to say there's not some sort of magnetic presence there, I think is really ignorant.
I do too. But then I just got into back to the pathways and stuff. Like what had this season a few months back where I would say to everybody, just raise your vibration, raise your vibe, raise your vibe. Because I do feel like when I do that, it really does change things. And I wrote down this week, life is what you make it. And it's interesting because I have such a dualistic view of the world. I really do. Like and I think we all do by nature.
Yeah.
By living in this world. Like it's either right or wrong, good or bad, you know?
Black or white.
And I'm trying to look at the different shades of things instead of black and white. Like, oh, this is in my life right now. It feels really heavy and hard, but this is in my life right now to get me somewhere else. And this is where I need to be, is in the present. But that's not always easy to do.
No, it's really not. It's like having a sometimes wanted and sometimes unwanted travel companion.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And I think something you said a minute ago kind of reminded me of something we talked about a couple of weeks ago, but I feel like it's even more relevant now because this week, this Thursday at 4:01 a.m., Central Daylight Time is when the vernal equinox happens.
Oh, yes. I was asking you about that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Vernal.
It's actually the vernal. Yes, it's actually the beginning of spring.
Okay.
And it's really interesting to me that you sneezed and that energy moved. It makes me think of the energy of the lungs, the air, and the lungs represent breathing in and breathing out, letting come and letting go.
Oh, that's good.
And the lungs organ meridian partner, if we're talking about Chinese, organ meridian theory, the lungs partner is the large intestine, and the large intestine lets come and lets go. It takes everything that the body has taken all the nutrients out of, and the only thing that the large intestine does is it removes water from waste, and then it creates shit.
Well, great.
It literally receives from the stomach and the small intestine, and it's like, okay, I'm going to let this last little bit of whatever this energy has come, and then I'm going to let it go. I'm going to poop it out.
Interesting.
And so we are moving from that season. Well, that's not true. We're not moving from that season. I totally just botched my own theory.
Well, here's the great thing is you're the editor, so you can say whatever you want.
Right, exactly. All of that to say that metal energy moved into water, which is winter, and now we are moving from winter to spring. So it's interesting to me that the grandmother of spring energy being metal is going let go.
Oh,
let go. It's like telling the 6-year-old grandchild, let go. You can let go of that. And that's really fascinating to me that you sneezed and that energy moved and that came from your lungs.
Said, I
that's
feel
so
better.
Cool. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I really need to be walking and drinking more water now that I'm listening about my large intestine.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you what, man, more water right now is a really, really good thing. We need to hydrate.
I think so too. I actually looked up the other day, is depression related to being dehydrated? Because I realize when I feel like I'm going in, or maybe I should have looked up anxiety, but when I feel like I'm going into a panic state, I run over to, if I'm up, I run over to the fridge and get a glass of ice water. And I'm not kidding. It fixes my panic attacks.
That is so fascinating because water represents our truest, most authentic being.
Whoa.
Yeah. So if you're going, well, I just totally burped. That was awesome.
Well, you're the editor. It doesn't matter.
I'm the editor. I might keep it in there.
Yeah.
But water really represents the core of who we are, And so it's the fact that you would be craving that in order to satiate anxiety. That makes so much sense to me. I love it.
You know what else is weird? It's going to get deep and dark real quick, guys. Okay. But we're going to come right back out. Kat, have something jolly on the other side.
Okay. I've got it ready. I know what element brings joy.
Okay. So when my dad was dying, this is sad, but he had a panicked moment where he was touching his mouth and saying, water, I need water.
Mm-hmm.
And I think actually what he needed was sugar. He was diabetic, but the whole point is that rang true when you described what he said as he was passing. He passed over very quickly after that. And maybe he was seeking his true self that was going to be collaborated in heaven. Not collaborated.
Yeah.
What's it called? Reconciled.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a fine theory. That's really amazing. And sad because it was you losing a parent, and sad that he was feeling that lack, as he was about to cross over. And also how exciting that what comes after that is a bunch of frustrating movement and energy bursting out to then release us into our truest joy.
Agree.
Which is fire. And so it's just really neat to...
Wait, does that mean he went to hell? Okay, just checking.
Yep. The way that works.
And then
in
he
Chinese,
went into fire. He was burning.
Yes, he was burning in hell.
I just had some PTSD from some evangelical camp or something.
Yeah. The stuff's got to cross over every now and then. Like, you can't talk about Hinduism or Taoist philosophy or Christianity or any of that without there being a little bit of overlap, right?
So no joke. Like I said, I moved my desk around so it's facing, those of you who can't see the video, it's facing all of my books, and I had to literally hide some of my Buddhist books, and I had a little Buddha because I was getting on a call that I was like, that's not going to go over well.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I feel like I would have had to obnoxiously left that there.
Oh, well, there's other things that are there if they want to find them.
Hide and seek with Moose.
That's right. I should, every week I should put something new on the bookshelf that is dangerous.
Yes, I think you should. So this reminds me of a situation that I encountered this week with someone who I was in the car with, and we were just driving up the interstate, like heading toward my house, and all of a sudden she just went like this.
Oh.
And I was like, what is this very, and I just gestured sticking up the middle finger, but kind of in a diagonal upside down sort of way.
And it's like a 1980s middle finger too.
Yeah. It's like my dad.
Like you're not putting the fingers around it all the way down. They're up to the knuckle. So it's like a real pissed off middle finger.
It's a real pissed off middle finger. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what?
Did she do it to you or to someone else?
No. She did it to the windshield. And so I was like, what are you flicking off? And she was like, that Tesla right there.
She's not the only one.
I know. And so she has made a pact with herself that if she is on the road and sees a Tesla, she gives the Tesla and the driver the middle finger.
Good.
If she sees the Tesla truck, what's that one called? It's like the Tesla Alta.
I don't know why you call it Tesla. It's Tesla, isn't it?
Tesla. Okay, yes, Tesla. Sorry for mispronouncing my
I don't know,
S's.
but they're not even trucks.
Well, they are
Cybertruck.
Cybertruck. That's what it is. And she said, so all Teslas get this. And she said, and the Cybertrucks get this.
Oh, they get a double middle finger.
Yeah, they get a double middle finger. So I realized that in my very tiny, and I stress very tiny, retirement fund that I am pretending that I still fund.
Oh, you should sell that.
Well, I realized that part of my portfolio is invested in Tesla, and I emailed the person who manages my portfolio and said, I want out.
Yeah.
I want out. And granted, it's only like $3,000, but I don't know.
That's $3,000.
Yeah, it's like
that we don't need Elon touching.
I know.
Speaking of middle fingers, I just saw this video that cracked me up. It was Amy Poehler and Tina Fey talking on Amy Poehler's podcast, and Amy, who I love them both, but I didn't know that this was something people said about her. She said she was giving a speech at Harvard and she's about to walk on stage, and some little Harvard asshole that's graduating or something says to her, "You're the poor man's Tina Fey."
Oh.
But she's telling this to one of her best friends, Tina, and Tina never has heard the story. And she gasps and she goes, they call me that, right? Which I had never heard. And
No,
Tina was
either.
appalled or whatever. And Amy Poehler said she just gave that person a quick middle finger and she goes, "Fuck you and fuck Harvard." And then she went up and gave her speech.
That is awesome. Can you imagine hearing something like that right before you're about to step on stage?
Yeah, I've had that happen to me before.
You have had it. And I remember when that happened to you, and I wanted to claw that guy's eyes out. Oh.
Why? How mean do you have to be to try and just pop someone's bubble right before they are doing something vulnerable?
Right. Yeah. That's not okay.
Yeah.
I was at breakfast this morning, and one of the gentlemen I was at breakfast with said at one point, he goes, F, F, F.
Wait, said the words?
Just said F, F.
Oh, no,
F.
the letter F.
The letter F. Like,
Okay.
and I was like, so I just like threw my hands on the table and I said, fuck. Like, sometimes you just got to say it.
Yeah,
like, sometimes you
know.
got to move that.
Me and a friend were talking about how, you know how angry I am based on the cuss word that comes out of my mouth. Like, if it gets to the level of a GD, and it's rarely happened, guys, it's rarely, but usually when I hurt myself, that's what comes out of my mouth. I'm not proud of that.
Well, I'm not proud of my usage of that phrase either. And at the same time, it was a very healing moment for me when I learned that I could say that out loud and
without getting struck by lightning.
Without getting struck by lightning. I was in a therapy session, a bodywork session, and I remember it being like the pinnacle of that session where I said, you know what I want to say, because it's just not okay with anybody in my life right now. Like anybody in my work, in my life, in my family. And I was encouraged, like, say whatever you want to say. Like, you have space here to be yourself and blah, blah, blah. And it was really, really healing to be able to say that out loud. And ever since then, I have kind of let go of that weird. Yeah, whatever that is, whatever you want to call that.
Well, I think there's so much about those things we weren't allowed to do that are healing, to be like, oh, screw that, I'm going to go do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the pastor kids going out and having sex in the field or whatever they did. You know, do you ever have, okay, I had a memory the other day and I'm just going to describe it to you without any disclaimer, because this is pretty messed up if you say it out loud. I haven't said it out loud yet.
I can't wait.
So we had this area behind where I grew up that we called the desert. And it was basically construction. It's just dirt with like huge mounds of dirt and huge concrete things and like bulldozers. And I mean, my entire childhood, it was there. So I don't think they were ever building anything. It might've been where they stored things and everything, but we played there all the time. It wasn't safe. But then I have a memory, and it wasn't in the desert. I have a memory of like a house, a barn that had been torn down, but somehow we walked up some stairs and there was a second floor and there was a mattress up there, which that's concerning. Yes. And then there was a mattress down and people would jump off the rafters onto the mattress. But I can't place where this was. I don't know if it's from a movie and I've claimed it as my own memory, but it creeps me out because I don't know where it's from.
Did you jump onto the mattress from the rafters?
I can't remember. I can remember being downstairs and upstairs in this barn, but I don't know. It was weird.
It makes me wonder, like, what does the mattress represent downstairs versus the one upstairs?
I don't want to know what happened on those mattresses either.
I mean, I kind of do, just out of pure curiosity.
I don't. Why was this out? And it was like in a wooded area. And I have no recollection of where it was, who was there. I just feels like a memory. And I feel like I was like 10 or 12 or something.
And is that something? Now, you said you didn't know where
Isn't
it was.
This therapy? Wait,
it is.
Therapy?
Yes. 100%. This is layman's therapy. So
maybe my sister will listen and be like, oh, I saw that barn too.
She'll let you know. Yeah. She'll let you know.
I'm sort of afraid to know more. Well, I mean, I don't think anything bad happened to me.
Oh,
but
good.
I do think it was a weird thing. Why would you? Maybe it was just teenagers.
You described it originally as the desert. You described it as mounds of dirt and machines like bulldozers. And then
I know that at first I was like, oh, it must have been in the desert. Like that's how my brain went. But it was in a wooded area. So it wasn't in the desert. I was trying to place it and I couldn't.
Yeah. And were the woods protecting you or were the woods scary?
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Let's definitely not. Yeah.
Well,
Sarah,
for
we really
listening,
miss
guys.
you. Thank you for listening. And Moose, I love you dearly. Sarah, we miss you dearly. If this actually makes it out into the world, I would love some sort of applause or, head shake of shame or something like that. It'd be really nice.
Yeah, done.
Special thanks to our producer, Sarah Reed.
To find out more, go to catandmoosepodcast.com. Cat and Moose is a BP production.